and this time we're putting 3000. Okay, so exactly the same as what we did before. If I save that, it'll post them figures through to the stock, and in the history tab it shows me the transactions we've done. So there will now be 3000, 5000 and 1000 of them items respectively in stock. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is some importing into our inventory module. Once again, we have to go into the system manager and click on the import wizard. Okay, next on that we're importing into inventory this time, and we want to import some inventory items first. Firstly, we're going to import some kit items. The next thing, we're going to import the assembly items, and the assembly items ones also includes some opening balance figures on that one as well. So you'll have items along with a one-off sort of opening balance figure against them to put some stock in. And the last one we're going to bring in again for inventory is just opening balances on their own. So we're going to have to amend that file like we did for the customer and supplier ones. So using the second import routine here, I'm going to browse for my kit components one. Okay, into my import files, inventory, kit components import. Okay, next, and start importing. Hopefully that will all import fine for me. Successful. Okay, while I'm here, I'll go and do my next file. Okay, which is going to be the assembly items import. This is the one with the opening balances on, but we still use the normal inventory items import. Okay, start importing on that. That was successful, which is good. So if I just nip back into inventory and find item, I can now see I've got a lot more items in there. I've got some motherboards, hard disks, and all the rest of it. And some of these have got balances on, such as these. These are my assembly items, and there's my balances that were on that file. Okay, the last file that I want to import is my inventory opening balances. So if I just open that file up in Excel and we'll just have a look at it. Okay, now this is basically our items. Actually, we don't need to amend this file because it's already kindly got the item names in there because we knew what they were going to be. Okay, so basically what this is going to do for each of these items, it's going to bring this many into stock basically, into location 1 of our main warehouse. So I don't need to amend that one after all. So if I close Excel down and go back to my import wizard, hopefully if I go to inventory, this time use the top import routine, opening balance one, select inventory opening balances, next, and start importing. Hopefully it'll bring them in for me. There we go, successful. So that's now put some opening balances against them other items. So if I go back into find item, just to refresh it, we'll see that majority of them have now got balances in, which is what I've just imported basically, so that's good. Okay, the next type of item I'm going to create is a kit item, and we have to bring in the components for that kit item, therefore we could do this. So new item, this time a kit. Okay, and our kit item is going to be a computer kit. Okay, again we've got the standard unit and measures and categories and everything. I'm just going to skip through that, finish the wizard and get straight to the kit details tab. Okay, so again it's opened up, when I finished the wizard there, it's opened up the item as standard, but instead of putting us to the general tab where it would normally be, it's put us straight into the kit details tab because it knows that we're probably going to want to configure the kit for this computer kit item that we've got. Okay, so the first group that we're going to add is for motherboards. So what motherboard? Okay, now here we say whether it's a required group. So a motherboard in a computer will usually be required for the computer to work anyway, so that's going to be required. We could also have an optional one, so if it's something like software, do you want this bit of software with it or not? Or we can have multi-select, where it can be, you can have that one and that one. Okay, so for the motherboard we can only have one, and it's required, so we're going to have obviously the group type as required. Okay, and then down here we then choose our items to go into it. So we've got a few different motherboards that we've imported, so if I just do a search for mother, it'll bring them up. I can select all three using the select all button and click OK to put them on. Now I must select which one is going to be our default one, so when someone goes to create a kit, what exactly is going to default onto our order, and in this case it's going to be the 3 GHz motherboard. Okay, now we've added that one. If I go add new, I can now add the next group in exactly the same way. So I think it was what CPU. Okay, again a CPU is going to be required. So if I just go down here and search for CPU, it should bring up my CPUs. And this time my CPU 3000 is required. Okay, next one, which RAM? That also brings frame up because frame's got RAM in the middle of it. Obviously I don't want frame, so I won't use select all on that one. Okay, and the 1 gig of RAM is going to be the default one. Hard drive this time. $80 gigs is going to be the default. And finally, monitor. And the 20-inch one is going to be the default one. I've also got to set the manufacturer on this one to be HAL Computers. So the manufacturer is on the Setup tab. I'll select HAL Computers in there. Okay, next save and close on that item now. I'm going to create another type of item, which is a matrix item. Item matrix. And my matrix is going to be called Danger T-shirt. I want it to be in my T-shirts category. And when I click next from that screen, it then takes me into the matrix setup. So again, for this type of item, the setup is the wizard slightly different. So the prefix that we're going to have for this is Danger T-shirt. Okay, the separator could be dash or forward slash or whatever you want it to, and it shows down here how it will appear. So Danger T-shirt dash attribute 1, 2, etc. I'm going to leave that as it is. Okay, and then here is where we can select our attribute. Now we obviously created speed earlier on. That's not really relevant for our T-shirt, so we're just going to have color and size on that one. And then when we go next, it says what are the attributes that you want for color. Well, I want blue, red and white, so I'm going to select all. And then what's the attribute values for size? I want small, medium, large and extra large, so I'll put all them on. Okay, and then when I go next out of that, it's saying these are all the items that it's going to create for you, and I can untick some if I don't want certain combinations, but as standard I'm going to just leave that go like that. Okay, and next, and then this